Hey guys, thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. It's amazing. The journey has been a lot of fun and a lot of editing for Christian. But we got there, you know. And I asked on Instagram for like ways to celebrate this, and we found out that a lot of people wanted more Tarikoplata videos. So today's subject is going to be Baratoplata versus Tarikoplata, and what's the difference between the two, and when to use either one, right? This is a question I get a lot, especially, I guess, newer people to the techniques. They kind of confuse the both. I mean, they're very similar. They look a lot alike, but they hit different spots, and it's from different places. So first off, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the Tarikoplata, starting off where we left off last time, basically. So last time I showed you guys how to set up from top, and just to give you guys an idea, we're going to start from there, and I will explain to you guys. So let's turn to this way, and here we go. So basically, I'm starting from the Kimura position here and going in for the Kimura first, right? But he's pulling his arm, he's making it difficult for me. So now I timed it well and threw my leg over it, right? A lot of details I talked about in the other video about having my wrist all the way through, making sure my knee is capturing his wrist and all of that, right? If you want to check it out, make sure to do so. But from this position, of course, I want to submit if I can. If not, what happens a lot, he will either sweep me forward or backwards. This can happen like by just falling out of balance, or maybe he timed it well. It can be different reasons, right? What happened, for example, is that I lean too much forward and then he comes up towards me. Like this. So I end up in the bottom position. Can you just walk backwards? Perfect. Always good to have a strong partner. So then I end up in the similar position on bottom. I still keep the same placement of my legs and my arms here, right? Go back, if you can roll backwards. The same thing applies if he pulls me backwards like this. So then I land in the same position, right? Let's scooch into the middle. So just come up. So here, there's a lot to getting to the top position again, right? There's a lot of details that you have to refine just so you can understand how the roll works, okay? And what I want to make sure of is always to make sure to trap his wrist here. If my leg slides off, it's super easy for him to slip it off. Of course, you can go for different attacks. You can go for the Kimura again, the omoplata, all of those things. Well, I got this position and I want to keep it, right? Watch how I'm never locking my legs, right? This could set up for kind of like a bicep slicer. To me, I had no really success with it, to be honest. Reason being, I fight usually bigger guys or guys my same size. If I fight smaller people, probably I would get this more, and I could lock like a rear naked choke just to get more pressure. But the problem here as well is that I'm locking my legs, so if Christian rolls, I would be trapped underneath his back, and this would make it really hard for me to go any further if that would happen, right? So I always make sure to stretch my leg over his head, and now we're going to start rolling. So when I'm rolling, I'm pushing his head down with my thigh, okay? This way, I can now come with the other leg and place my foot on the floor really tight here. Not too far, always tight. And what happens here is Christian's going to roll, and I always want to make sure he doesn't roll too fast, or at least until I've gotten to the top position. So if I can, you just give me your leg for a second. If I can slow down the roll until I've gotten here, now I can let go and place my hand on the floor here, okay? We're just going to turn a little bit this way here, Christian. So what you guys will see is if this foot is far away here, there's a lot of space for Christian to remove his hand, right? If I make sure my foot is all the way tight here, now it's really hard for Christian to move his hand out, and it's easy for me to start moving up, because watch, I'm just rolling on top of my toes here, okay? As for the leg on the back here, what I'm doing here is I'm just turning my toes and my knees to the floor. So I can come up on my knee here, and now start working the Tarikoplata, right? Re-roll again, one more time. Boom. Here, a little bit faster.
making sure I'm holding his leg with this hand here. So if he rolls, I can slow down, come up, and then finish the fight. Okay? So just so you guys understand, to get the best pressure to finish the move, you have to end up on top to get that torque on the shoulder, right? Yes, people do tap sometimes on top in like when you just set it up. But to be honest, if you have just like this much shoulder flexibility, you should be able to stop that from happening, right? So we're just gonna go through one entry here. And this is the double under entry that I've talked about earlier. I didn't show it on this channel, but this also is a place where you can enter the Baratoplata. So the double under here, and I always fight to get this arm in. Same side, same armpit, get as deep as possible. I clasp my hands together, and now I push the head away. This part I've showed before, because this is a really nice way to counter this position, right? And stop Christian from passing. So once I've passed my leg over his head and popped his arm out here, like the elbow, I can now start to move my other hand through this little loop here, right? So there's ways to do this, of course. If there's a lot of space, I can just bring my other arm behind the other one, right? But if it's a tight space, you might want to go for the C-climb grip here, with the fingers gripping like this. This way you're taking minimum space, and you can pull the other hand through. So you're just going here, and there you go. As you can see, I'm ending up in the same position as earlier, where I can roll and start finishing the Tarikoplata, right? Now let's look at how the Baratoplata works. Now I'm going with the opposite hand inside here, okay? I'm gonna grab and put my palms together, and now I'm gonna pass and go here, okay? So I pulled his elbow out. Essentially, it's kind of similar, right? But I'm pulling his wrist to my crouch instead of my knee here, okay? Now, what I have to do is I have to switch my hands through here, and now I have the right placement, okay? As you can see, the thing about the Baratoplata is I can actually finish it from the bottom position, like this. So I can twist here and get the finish. But there is an important detail here. A lot of people do this, is that they start turning sideways. When you turn sideways, you're basically giving him more movement or ability to move and torque his shoulder around, right? Whereas if I'm staying flat on my back here, this is gonna give me the tap, right? Of course, there are ways for him to defend it, and the very common one is that Christian is gonna fall on his back here. Whoop. Here, and I have to fight them from the top position. Let's do that one more time. Didn't feel smooth. So, in that scenario where I'm turking here and I feel that Christian is falling, I'm gonna try to follow up into the top position. Let's move a little to the middle. And as you guys can see, in this scenario, I'm looking towards Christian here, and I can now tap him out by getting his hand down to the floor. Whereas, let's look at the Tarikoplata. I need the opposite hand going through, and I need his wrist trapped in my knee here, right? These are two totally different locks, right? You can see that this one here is different from this one here, okay? And the reason to use one or the other depends on the scenario or the context, right? I love the Baratoplata from, for example, triangles. Let's say we have a triangle, and this is like the typical defense where people bring their hand inside and they're starting to defend like this, okay? Watch how all I need is to bring this hand through, pass my leg over his head, and we're there. We're there to set up the Baratoplata, right? Whereas if I'm fighting on the side here, his hand is usually already under my knee. A lot of people defend or grab the knee like this to stop me from going for the Kimura. Here it's perfect to set up the Tarikoplata, right? Of course, there are scenarios where, let's say Christian starts posturing up from this position, and I'm slipping and I can't hold this anymore. I can switch. There you go. So you can, of course, combine the two, but you just have to understand when to use the other, which is which, basically, when to use each, right? And that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked it. And as always, please like and subscribe. And let's see if we can make it to 3,000.